ever noticed something strange about success? The moment someone achieves anything impressive, everyone suddenly knows about it. Now, I'm just a kid, but I'm sure some of you adults may relate to this. Someone has a good week and suddenly that's all you hear about, and life looks a bit too perfect. The kids, oh, they're angels. The husband is so supportive. Work life, it's going amazing. And oh my God, Pilates on Sunday was exactly what they needed. And now you hear they're on some no carb, no sugar, no fun diet. And you ask them how they're going, and suddenly you've just relived that Facebook reel. And I bet you wouldn't have guessed. They posted all of that on Facebook with a nice family picture and a caption about them being blessed. Thinking about this is what actually inspired me to talk about this topic today. See, my mum has always told me something I'm sure a lot of parents say. Let your actions speak louder than your words. And when I was younger, I thought it was one of those classic parent sayings, the kind that sits right next to because I said so. But the more I thought about it, the more I realised that she actually may be right. But I do remember a time where I didn't really follow that advice. In Year 7, there was a moment where I did really well. A science test I got a high mark on. And I was proud of it, which is completely normal. But I told everyone. Every conversation somehow brought back to that point. At first, it felt good, yeah. But then I noticed something. I wasn't focused on improving anymore. I was focused on protecting that reputation. So when the next science test came around, I hesitated. Not because I couldn't do it, not because I wasn't prepared, but because I wanted to preserve that picture-perfect image. And that's the moment I realized what my mum meant. There's nothing wrong with celebrating success. Achieving something you worked hard for feels amazing, right? But success can do two very different things to people. It can push you forward, or it can start to get in your head. And when success gets in your head, you stop focusing on improving, and you start focusing on protecting your reputation. Instead of asking, how can I get better, you start asking, how do I make sure people still think I'm good? And that's when growth slows. Because when success becomes your identity, failure suddenly feels dangerous. Because if you're the smart one, or the talented one, or the person who always wins, then trying something new or difficult suddenly feels risky. What if you fail? What if people stop seeing you the same way? So instead of pushing yourself, you play it safe. Ironically, that's how success can actually make you worse. Now, while thinking about this, I noticed something interesting about the people who are truly great at what they do. They don't spend much time talking about how successful they are. They're too busy getting better. Think of the people you know who constantly tell you how amazing they're doing or how successful they are. Usually, those aren't the people doing the most impressive things. It's the difference between someone who says, I'm going to the gym, and someone who just quietly shows up every day and looks like they eat dumbbells for breakfast. That's when I noticed something. What we're focusing on is what I call the visible scoreboard. The visible scoreboard are the things everyone can see. Grades, awards, trophies, followers, recognition. And there's nothing wrong with those things. But if that's the only scoreboard you care about, then you start performing for the crowd instead of improving yourself. The people who keep getting better at anything, they're playing a different game. They're playing for what I call is the visible scoreboard, the invisible scoreboard. The invisible scoreboard are the things no one else can see. How many hours you practiced, how many times you tried again and again after failing, how much better you are today than you were yesterday. And this isn't just theory. I've seen it in my own life too. There was a time where I became really focused on improving in one of my subjects. I wasn't telling anyone, I was just quietly putting in the effort and the work. And I had a friend in that exact same class. We got the same lessons, the same homework, the same opportunities. But when it came to tests and exams and results, I started getting the better ones. And that's when things changed. You could feel the comparison, the tension. It didn't feel the same anymore, and eventually we drifted. That was hard, but it taught me something important. No matter how much the same things look on the outside, the invisible scoreboard things matter, and those are the things that actually create success. Nobody claps for the invisible scoreboard efforts. Unfortunately, there's no award ceremony for most extra practice done when no one was looking. But those are the things that actually shape who you are. So what can you do? Focus less on outcomes and more on your invisible scoreboard. So the next time something goes well, the next time you achieve something, celebrate it, acknowledge it, but don't let it become the thing you live off. Ask yourself, what does my invisible scoreboard say? Did I try? Did I put effort in? Did I do the best that I possibly could? And that matters more than any visible results. Thank you.